This is an MJA Inc. Investigations warning. This MJA podcast is rated E for explicit. Some details of a case and language used on this podcast might be upsetting to some of our listeners. Listeners' discretion is advised. And for those who are still with us, kick back and enjoy the show. Welcome to our MJA podcast. This series, Deep into the Woods. This is episode 19, part 5, Missing Maura Murray. My name is Mark, and I will be your host for tonight's show. Joining me later will be our co-host, Olivia. We are coming to you from Hudson, Florida. On February 9th, 2004, college student Maura Murray left the UMass campus in Amherst, Massachusetts. Miss Murray was driving her less-than-safe vehicle, a Saturn. She went to an ATM machine and withdrew around $280. Miss Murray also visited a liquor store and purchased some alcohol. For some reason which nobody knows about, Miss Murray decided she needed to leave town. That alone is very strange. Her vehicle was not safe and was not running smoothly and was burning oil. So what was so important that Miss Murray would like to take the chance of driving her Saturn, which the drive ended up being out of state? At this point, we can only guess or have an opinion where Miss Murray's destination might have been on this winter night. Think about it. An unsafe vehicle, out of state, and an unknown destination. On February 9th, 2004, at around 7:27 p.m., Miss Murray was involved in a one-car accident on a hairpin turn on Highway 112 heading east outside of Woodsville, New Hampshire. The so-called accident was heard by Mrs. Westman, who looked out across the road and called 911 to report the accident. At about that time, school bus driver Mr. Atwood offered Miss Murray help, but she refused, claiming she had already called AAA. Mr. Atwood knew that wasn't true, for their area was a dead zone. There was no cell phone service. Mr. Atwood drove the bus home a little more than 100 yards away and went into his home and called 911. All reports claim Miss Murray gathered some items from her vehicle and started walking east. Just to note, the police response to the 911 calls is another puzzle. No law enforcement came from the east heading west. If they had, they might have saw Miss Murray walking east. All response to the calls came from the west, heading east. It's Police 101. When you respond to a call, you enter their area coming from different directions. Needless to say, and depending on what the timeline you use, Miss Murray vanished without a trace within 7 to 9 minutes after the first 911 call by Mrs. Westman. Just think about it. Miss Murray is walking on Highway 112 heading east, and police are on the way when she disappears into the night. She vanished without a trace. There is a common search done in that area that night, but no trace of Miss Murray was ever found. When it was realized that Miss Murray was missing, several people arose to the top as persons of interest. It seems this part of the White Mountains is a shady and dangerous area which is filled with common criminals, high-risk sex offenders, and child molesters. Yes, there was no shortage of suspects in the beginning. Since November 2005, MJA has narrowed down the people considered a person of interest. MJA has 3 suspects that we have highly circumstantial evidence against by using their own words and postings and their own actions dating back to 2003. They have access in the area, and they have a very good reason for being in the area. Then you have that unspoken thought that the perp isn't on anybody's radar, or could it be a crime of a serial killer? Think about it. After 18 years, nothing has been found connected to Miss Murray. When you have multiple persons of interest, you narrow down your suspect list by using access. Is it possible they could have done it? MJA uses educated profiles of the suspects, like what kind of offender are they known to be? Could an offender change their type of crime or MO? Well, yes, very easily, but there are usually signs that this has happened. MJA can give you sound reasons why the usual suspects are just that. They are people sought out when a crime like this happens. On February 9th, 2022, it has been 18 years since Maura Murray vanished without a trace outside of Woodsville, New Hampshire on State Highway 112 after a one-car accident. All reports claim Miss Murray was walking east on Highway 112. There has been multiple professional searches and also using canines when possible for Miss Murray during these years. These searches was conducted by the Murray family, John Smith, MJA Inc. Investigations, Boots on the Ground, and many other volunteers. The The on-location investigative and research work concerning Miss Murray's disappearance has been conducted by the Murray family, John Smith, and MJA Inc. Investigations. On February 9, 2004, 18 years ago, Maura Murray went missing outside of Woodsville, New Hampshire, while walking east on Highway 112 after being involved in a one-car accident. Her destination was unknown. We have a college student who leaves campus for a reason that is unknown to anyone at this time. She is driving an unsafe vehicle out of state, and we have no clear clue what her destination was at the time. Miss Murray disappears into the night. What do you think happened to Miss Murray? Miss Murray hasn't been seen or heard from since February 9th, 2004, and there has been no activity concerning her bank account or social security number. Let's take a pause for the cause, and when we return, Olivia will be on the line. This song goes out to Maura and Kathleen Murray, two sisters in heaven together way before their time. God bless you forever.
What does it look like in heaven? Is it peaceful? Is it free like they say? Does the sun shine bright forever? Have your fears and your pain gone away? Here on earth it feels like every day good is missing since you left. And here on earth everything's different. There's an emptiness. Oh, I hope you're dancing in the sky, and I hope you're singing in the angels' choir. I hope the angels know what they have out there. It's so nice up in heaven since you arrived. Now tell me, what do you do up in heaven? All your days filled with love and light. Is there music? Is there art and invention? Tell me, are you happy? Are you more alive? 'Cause here on earth it feels like every day good is missing since you left. And here on earth everything's different. There's an emptiness. Oh, I hope you're dancing in the sky, and I hope you're singing in the angels' choir, and I hope the angels know what they have out there. It's so nice up in heaven since you arrived. Since you arrived. wasting every clue I found. But the truth has not been told. There's every corner of these woods is hollow. I can't see the road.
Welcome back to our MJA podcast, the series Deep into the Woods. This is episode 19, part 5, Missing Maura Murray. We have Olivia on the line. How are you doing tonight?
Doing well.
Okay, before we get started, I would like to note I couldn't attend the candlelight vigil for Miss Murray on February 9th, 2022. I felt very bad that this would be the first one I have missed since November 2005. So I contacted our staff and asked them to light a candle for Miss Murray starting at 7:20 p.m. to 8 p.m. to take a photo and post it in Maura's room. Our staff members replied and Jess told me that her and Allie was planning to do something. To my surprise, Jess and Allie went to the candlelight vigil on location in New Hampshire to represent MJA. I was told by Julie Murray that Jess and Allie fit in with the crew and that they were amazing. To our critics, please take notice. Since November 2005, MJA has been to every major search and vigil for Miss Murray, and that will continue. I think MJA has proven and will carry out our only promise we made to the Murray family, and that is MJA will be involved in the case until it's solved. We are not going anywhere, and we are not going to give up trying to locate Miss Murray and to bring her justice. Okay, Olivia, what do you think was so important that Miss Murray would drive her unsafe vehicle to New Hampshire?
Well, first, none of us really know what was going on with Maura at that time. We knew there was something that had upset her, a phone call or something. I think we've all come to the conclusion it wasn't from her sister, Kathleen. I think the reason that she went to New Hampshire was because when you're under stress, sometimes you want to seek a place that you find comfort in. I understand that she used to hike there with her dad and her family a lot, so she was familiar with the area. And maybe something prompted her to go up there because she just needed that comfort.
Okay, in your opinion, what was Miss Murray's destination?
This is the thing. I know many people have said that they thought she was headed to Bartlett because there was a condo there that she used to stay with her family. Am I correct about that?
Yes.
But I was looking at the map before, and she had passed Bartlett. She was totally in the opposite direction of where Bartlett was. So she had 280 on her. Am I correct about that?
Yes, we was told around $280.
Around $280.
Yes.
I don't know how far that would have gotten you back then. I'm not familiar with staying there. I haven't stayed there since years ago, and that's a different story. But I couldn't tell you where. Something. Maybe she was looking for a cabin up there. I know they have the UMass cabin. I don't know if she would have stayed there, but the girl is a survivor. She did go to West Point. I think she was just at that point aimlessly wandering around and hoping she would come up with something. I don't know. I really don't know what her true destination is. I really don't think any of us could make that call.
Okay, you're driving along with the music on, and just maybe you are having a small drink, and you lose control of your car to where you spin out and come to rest, but the car won't start back up. What do you do? And remember, you have alcohol in the vehicle.
She was on probation, wasn't she? Or something?
No, she was under a 6-month informal thing on a credit card that was used, and after that 6 months of keeping her nose clean, it would have been voided.
I think the first thing anyone would do was you would want to distance yourself from that vehicle, especially if there was an open container in the car. But I looked up before we got on the podcast, I looked up New Hampshire law, and I'm sure people will correct me. It's only a $150 fine and a possible loss of your license for 60 days. So sometimes I question maybe it would have been better if she would have just stayed with the vehicle. Maybe she could have just gotten off with a ticket if she could explain things. I don't think she was drunk because she didn't drink that much. There wasn't that much alcohol missing. Am I correct?
That's correct.
And I think if she would have stayed with that vehicle, Maura would still be here today.
And so you think Miss Murray left the vehicle and started walking to distance herself from the alcohol. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And should Miss Murray have taken school bus driver Mr. Atwood's offer to help?
You know, he was a pretty big guy, you know, but like I said, I don't think much it scared Maura. You know, she was a strong woman. To take a stranger's help in an area such as that, I don't know. I don't know. It's hard to to answer that. Maybe she would have been better, and explain the situation to him. He may have been able to help her. And knowing that, he had a wife and stuff, that may have been her safe haven, to just stay there till things cleared out. But you don't know if he would have, the police did question him. And, you can't hide somebody in the house that they're looking for.
Mm. And in your opinion, why do you think Miss Murray refused Mr. Atwood's help?
I think it was because of the alcohol in the car. She just didn't want to. I wouldn't trust anybody. If I knew I had that kind of stuff in the car, I wouldn't really. You don't know who you can trust, What are you going to do? Say, I got booze in the car. Can you hide me in the house till the police clear away? Just doesn't make sense.
Okay, Miss Murray starts walking east on 112. So why do you think the police didn't come from the east heading west when responding to the 911 calls?
Did anyone state that she was headed east? They didn't see her walking away, did they?
Yes, there's multiple reports that she gathered items from her vehicle and started walking east down 112.
You would think. I know here, if there's a situation, they come from all different directions. They don't just come from one area. So that was an issue with the police. I don't know why they just came from one area. If you know the person is heading east, why didn't you come that way?
Mm-hmm. And so do you think that was a big mistake that was made by the police?
Oh, yeah, without a doubt.
Okay, given a 7 to 9 minute window when police arrive, Miss Murray is gone. What do you think happened to Miss Murray in that 7 to 9 minutes?
My opinion always has been that there was someone in UMass that was possibly stalking her or liked her. I believe she was followed up there from UMass, and she had an idea that someone was following her. I think that person maybe passed her when she crashed, and they maybe turned around. I know they said the dog lost the scent right before the bus driver's house. I think she was picked up there, and something really bad happened after that.
And after 18 years, do you think our usual suspects are smart enough to abduct Miss Murray and leave nothing behind?
I believe whoever did this has done this before.
Okay.
And they know how to dispose of personal articles.
Okay. Are there persons of interest that stick out to you without mentioning any names? Okay.
Yes, yes.
And how many persons of interest stick out to you?
Let me count. I'm going to say between 3 to 9.
And do you think the usual suspects in the area had anything to do with Miss Murray's disappearance?
I think it was people in the area that knew people that frequented that area. Can I say that?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
And do you think the guilty one ever bragged to anyone about abducting Miss Murray?
I think somebody knows something. I think more than one person knows something. It's just, I think these people may have clout or they have money, and people are afraid to speak out.
In your opinion, do you think the person that abducted Miss Murray has done this before?
If they haven't done it before, they did it shortly thereafter.
In your opinion, do you think we are dealing with a serial killer?
What do you define as a serial killer?
3 or more victims.
Yes, yes. I think they've done this before. They've done it before because nothing has been found on her, so this isn't the first time they're doing it. It's been done before.
And do you think it's possible that our offender isn't on anybody's radar?
Can you reword that? I don't quite
okay.
understand.
We're talking about the guilty party. Do you think that he's on anybody's list as suspects, or do you think he's flown under the radar?
No, I think people are, some people, not all, might have an idea of who they might be.
Okay. Are there cases in Vermont and New Hampshire where it seems there is a pattern forming?
Yes.
At one time, Miss Murray was a West Point...
Can I add to that?
Yes.
It seems like this all seems to happen during ski season. I'm going to just leave it at that.
Okay. At one time, Miss Murray was a West Point cadet. Do you think she put up a fight when she knew something was wrong?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That girl didn't go down without a fight. She didn't go down without a fight. It's just, I think there were too many of them, and they overpowered her.
I have always said if Miss Murray thought she was in danger, all she had to do was clear a 3-foot snowbank, and into the woods you go. In the dark, the perp wouldn't know what direction she went in. Olivia, would you agree with that kind of thought?
Yeah, I do agree with that, and I also thought that she should have maybe gone down, what's that road, Old Peters Road?
Yeah, there's Old Peters Road, and there's one down...
She could have hid easily down there, because that's very dark.
Okay. And at times, do you think people on social media lose sight of our goal, and that's to locate Miss Murray?
Yeah, oh, yeah, yeah. I mean, there's so many theories out there, you know, and we rehash the things, and we go over and over and over it again, and just some of them are so far-fetched, it's laughable. And the main objective here is to find her. It's not about notoriety and who knows what, and, you know, who the first one is to figure out who the suspect is. It's just, people should just, you know, as a group, just group together and just try to figure out what happened to her. Enough with the theories, enough with going over the car. I mean, it gets ridiculous.
And from my experience, if you find the remains, there is usually evidence left behind, no matter how long it's been. Do you think Miss Murray will be located above ground or in an unmarked grave?
I gotta say something, and if they Murray's listen to this, I don't want them to get it. I think she's scattered about. I don't think she's in one location.
Okay. It's been 18 years and nothing has been found related to Miss Murray. Do you find that odd and hard to believe?
Yes, because there's been other cases, and they've been found in way less than 18 years. I mean, some of them have been found within 6 months, a year. You know, this is just unheard of. I know it's very dense up there. There's a lot of forest. You could be anywhere. But, you know, somebody knows something. They're just not speaking up.
Okay. In my experience, after these many years and such a massive area that has already been searched, you usually start finding items that's related to the case. In Miss Murray's case, it's very unusual that nothing has been located connected to her. Do you think Miss Murray hasn't been located because she is on private property that hasn't been searched?
I'm going to put it this way, okay? I think part of her is on private property. I think part of her is elsewhere. So if you can find one part of her, which more than likely is on private property, there's probably some of her remains and hopefully, you know, some of her belongings, and hopefully that could lead you to where, oh, God, it's so hard to say this, where the rest of her is.
Okay.
I think these people were heartless. I just think it was a horrible death, and I don't think she's intact. I'll leave it that way. And I don't think it was because of animals. I think it was because of the animals that killed her.
If the owner of the private property was the offender, wouldn't it be taking a great risk to have the missing person located on your property?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's kind of stupid, too. Why would you bury her there if you did it, you know? I mean, and, you know, there is a way that they can search private property, and they can get warrants, and they can go in there and they can search. But if it's somebody in the town that has a connection or had a connection, that whole town, the way it's run is just doesn't make sense to me. It's just too many cover-ups.
Okay, we're going to give you a little insight to a suspect profile of the type of person we might be dealing with. We believe our offender is very intelligent but has just an average IQ. The offender pays attention to the details. We would say the offender comes from family money. We believe the offender had the urge to pose Miss Murray's body to state, "See what I have done." Having family money sometimes urges the offender to show off their handiwork, and sometimes they have to gain control of these types of urges. But sometimes it can be in their words or actions that could give them away without posing their handiwork. This offender pays attention to the details, so their thought is the ultimate quest was to leave nothing behind. After 18 years, this offender hasn't left one clue behind to lead us in their direction or to Miss Murray's location. That's total control which this offender seems to need that's beyond his urges to pose the victim. We also believe if this offender changes their MO, it will be posing of the victims. And Olivia, could you agree with this offender profile?
I'm sorry. Yes, in part.
Okay, what part don't you agree with?
I don't understand what you mean by posing the victim.
Posing the victim in a provocative position.
That's sick. That's just sick.
Well, that's what we're talking about when you're posing a victim.
Oh, my God. I didn't think it was just one person. I just think it's a group of people.
And in your opinion, do you think our offender comes from family money?
Yes.
If so, do you think that's the reason the offender hasn't been caught yet?
More than likely, yes.
And do you believe more than one person knows what happened to Miss Murray?
Yes, there was a group of them.
And is there anything you would like to add?
I just want to say to the Murray family, my sincere condolences on your loss with Kathleen. And this has just been too long for you. I feel so bad. 18 years is way too long. And I hope this is the year that you finally get your answers. No family should have to wait this long without any trace of anything from your loved one.
Please, if anyone has any information concerning the disappearance of Maura Murray on February 9th, 2004, please contact law enforcement or the Murray family. It has been 18 years, and Maura Murray and her family still seek justice. I want to thank our co-host, Olivia, for being on the show tonight. A special thanks goes out to our viewers and listeners for tuning in, for you all have been so kind. I have a quote for you all. The truth is that teamwork is at the heart of great achievement. John C. Maxwell. Always remember, folks, that if you ever get bored with nothing to do, well, take a walk deep into the woods. You might be surprised at what you might find. That's the end of our MJ podcast. This has been episode 19, part 5, Missing Maura Murray. We say to all of you, good night from Hudson, Florida.
And I'm haunted in a dream. I don't know how long I've been asleep. I got Bye.